Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about how my membership site is built. I'm going to go over the exact plugins that I use to power it. Hey there, David Risley here with blogmarketingacademy.com. Now, the last time I talked about how my membership site software stack is actually structured was almost about a year ago. As of this recording, it's February 2022, and I think when I originally recorded my video about this, it was March of 2021. So it's been almost a year, and actually quite a bit has changed, and so I thought it was necessary that I actually record an update because I do have people who follow along with the software stack that I am using, and they're asking me things about Thrive themes, or they're asking me things about Member Mouse, and I don't, or Thrive Cart, or Drip, or any of that stuff, and I don't use any of it anymore. Things have changed quite a bit. And in fact, my membership site and the blog used to be two different sites. Now they're not. I've put everything back together again, so that's changed things substantially. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to my screen. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the software stack, the plugins, and the theme itself that I use to power the Blog Marketing Academy itself. Let's get to it. Real quick before we get going, keep in mind that most of the data and a bunch of links and some links to some relevant stuff with regard to the changes that I've made are actually going to be below this video on the blog. So if you're over at blogmarketingacademy.com and you're actually watching this video on the site itself, the full blog post is going to have a lot more information than what this video is going to do. This video is basically going to give you the broad overview. I don't want to let this thing get to 20-25 minutes long like I've done in some other videos in the past. I want to try to keep it somewhat short. Okay, so most of it's going to be below in writing, and with that, let's get to it. Okay, so here we are at the Blog Marketing Academy homepage. Now, this homepage is designed in such a way where it shows differently if you're not logged in and you're not a member. And then, of course, I'm logged in right now, so we see the actual dashboard. And so I use some conditional stuff in there, which we're going to talk about, but what that actually makes this thing actually change based on the person's profile and based on the tags on their profile. I actually use WP Fusion for that, and it works out really, really well. And WP Fusion, we'll cover this in a minute, but it will actually work with Elementor as well, which I'm about to mention, and it allows me to show different things based on the tags on their profile, and it's just gorgeous how this actually works. But if you click around here, this is all the Buddy Boss theme. Buddy Boss is the community platform that I use. It works really nicely with LearnDash, which I'm also using for online courses and stuff like that. It's got all the social functionality, and this is a really great platform. Now, the Buddy Boss platform itself actually is free. There is a pro add-on which adds some things that are kind of cool. I do have the pro add-on as well, but more importantly is that my theme actually is the Buddy Boss theme, and it works really nicely. In my opinion, it's probably one of the best membership site themes out there because of the amount of things that it is capable of either doing directly or that it integrates with it and just makes everything look really nice. And so that's the Buddy Boss theme and the Buddy Boss Pro platform. Now, by default, there may be some things that you don't like about the way the Buddy Boss theme works. And for me, at least one of them was the blog. I didn't think that the blog templates were that particularly good. But you don't have to accept it because it works really nicely with Elementor. And so you guys that have been following me a while, you know that I'm a big fan of Thrive themes. But Thrive themes, unless you're using all Thrive themes tools, it just doesn't make a very good membership site platform, at least not the kind that I wanted. And so even though I've got a lot of experience with Thrive Theme Builder and Thrive Architect, I had to get used to Elementor. And I've come to respect Elementor quite a bit. There are some things that it's a little unwieldy about, and it's not as fast and easy to use as Thrive Architect. But there are some things that it actually does way better than Thrive Architect as well. One of them being how well it integrates with everything, including WP Fusion. That's fantastic because I can build entire blocks with Elementor and then turn them on or off based on whether the person's logged in, based on tags on their profile. That's fantastic. But it also works great with the Buddy Boss theme so that I can override and basically customize any aspect of the Buddy Boss theme using Elementor, and one of them being the blog. And so basically the blog template is something that I designed with Elementor, and it works beautifully with the Buddy Boss theme, and I don't have to accept the templates that come with Buddy Boss theme. So it's a really powerful combination. So that's what I'm using: Buddy Boss Pro, the Buddy Boss theme, and the Elementor page builder. And specifically, I do have the Pro version of Elementor because I do believe that you need it in order to work with Buddy Boss. Okay, in terms of the shopping cart, I am using Woocommerce. Okay, and that's something that is a fairly recent change. I've been through a few. I used to use, some old membership site software, but I was using MemberMouse for quite some time. I've got some information here on the site about MemberMouse, but MemberMouse and I simply grew apart. I didn't want to use it anymore. I went to ThriveCart for a while, and ThriveCart I've got a lot of respect for. It's a really, really nice platform. The thing is, the fact that it wasn't so tightly integrated in with WordPress became a bit of a problem. And as you can see here, a lot of what I wanted to do was move everything into WordPress because it just makes life easier when I do. And so I went to WooCommerce, and WooCommerce, it can be a bit of a beast, but once you get used to it, it's actually not that hard to use. It's actually much simpler than it kind of looks right off the gate. Gives you a lot of flexibility. I am using a few add-ons for it. Obviously, one of them is WooCommerce subscription so that I can do recurring billing. And I think I've got a few others on there, but not that many. I'm not doing anything too out of the ordinary with WooCommerce, but Buddy Boss works nice with WooCommerce. WP Fusion, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, works great with WooCommerce. My CRM, which I'll be talking about, but it's called Fluent CRM, that works great with WooCommerce. So essentially, WooCommerce is just one of those options for taking orders on your site that pretty much everything works with it because it's probably one of the most popular self-hosted e-commerce solutions you can come up with, and it just does so much. And so that's what I'm using. Now, one of the things about WooCommerce is that by default, it doesn't really have any sales funnel functionality. And so if you want to do things like one-click upsells or nice, beautiful landing pages, it just doesn't really have that because by default, WooCommerce operates like a traditional shopping cart where you add something to cart, you look at your cart, then you proceed to checkout, kind of like Amazon. But that's not the way that most information-based businesses want to operate. They want to take more control over the experience. And so for that, I went ahead and picked up a license to CartFlows. And CartFlows basically works with WooCommerce, but it allows you to do all the things that information marketers like to do. Nice, beautiful landing pages, working with various page builders, but one of them, of course, is Elementor, and so it works really nicely with Elementor, but you got one-click upsells, you've got one-click order bumps, you've got A/B split testing, you've got dynamic offers, checkout form layouts, basically all the things that you might wish that WooCommerce did and that something like ThriveCart already did. CartFlows enables it. And so basically I've got all the functionality of something like ThriveCart, except that I have it inside of WordPress and all the integrations that go along with that. I no longer have all of my e-commerce stuff taking place someplace else. So I'm going to do a full review later on with CartFlows because it really is a nice platform. And in fact, they just released a new version with this visual builder where you can really visualize your sales funnels. I think they call it the canvas. And it's really pretty cool. And I know that it's going to get better over time. So that's CartFlows. I'm definitely using that. Now, this is a membership site, right? And so you need a membership site plugin. The thing is, if you go around and you start searching for membership site plugins, you're not going to necessarily find the one that I use. And that's simply because it's just not positioned that way. I know a lot of people that use WooCommerce, they like to go with an add-on like WooCommerce, what's it called, memberships or whatever. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend something entirely different. And what I would recommend is WP Fusion. WP Fusion is like the Swiss Army knife. It's like the glue that makes everything work together. And in this case, it works hand in hand with your CRM, which used to be Drip in my case, but it's now called Fluent CRM. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But WP Fusion basically turns this into an extremely powerful membership site platform where I can show or hide anything, including courses, including including individual blocks on a page based on who the person is, whether they're logged in or not. And when you're running a membership site, that's what you want. You want to be able to customize the entire site experience based on who they are, what their permissions should be, but not only that, what you know about them. I mean, literally, you could be tracking anything that you want, be adding things to their CRM profile, and customize the entire page based on what you know that is stored in their CRM profile. And so you can get super, super fancy with this stuff. I'm not even using a fraction of what I could be doing using WP Fusion. It works great with WooCommerce. It's probably the cart that it works best with. It works really nicely with Elementor. So anything that you build with the Elementor page builder, you can control the permissions of who's going to see that by integrating it with WP Fusion. Just can't do that with Thrive Architect. It's just one of those things. And so I really like it. So basically what forms the foundation of the business is basically WooCommerce, working along with cart flows for the actual funnels, and WP Fusion, which controls all the permissions and stuff like that. All right, the next three are all from the exact same company. And I've used most of their plugins, but these three particularly are pretty darn good. One of them I'm not using a lot yet, but I'm going to be integrating it, and I'll talk to you about why. The first one here is Fluent CRM, of course. I have moved my entire email list out of Drip that I used for multiple years and into Fluent CRM, which is a WordPress plugin. So now my entire list is self-hosted, and I've rebuilt a lot of my automations. Basically, it's a full marketing automation platform that rivals something like Drip or rivals ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft. But it does it all inside of WordPress, which means you don't have the really super high monthly bills associated with hosting your list on one of these big platforms. It's really good. It's matured a lot. The world of self-hosting your own email list has just changed substantially. Keep in mind, you're not sending it from your actual server. You are tapping into a third-party SMTP service such as Amazon SES to actually send out your emails. But it's substantially cheaper than hosting the entire list someplace else like ConvertKit or Drip or ActiveCampaign or any of those. And those things come with a pretty high monthly bill. Whereas I pay like literally a few bucks a month to send out my emails. It's super cheap with Amazon, and it's not sending the emails from my own server. It's sending them from Amazon. It doesn't get more trusted than that, right? So that's Fluent CRM. It works really beautifully with WP Fusion. It integrates in with WooCommerce. In fact, there are some things that I can automate directly with Fluent CRM that I wouldn't even really need WP Fusion for, because it just does it. It integrates with LearnDash. It does a lot. So that's Fluent CRM. I'm a massive, massive fan of it. It's matured a lot. I love having my email list in there. I will probably never, ever change back to a hosted platform because this thing is just the bee's knees. Now, a much newer offering that they have from the exact same company is called Fluent Support. This is a customer help desk that works really nicely. And if you're running a nicely developed membership site, it makes a lot of sense to have a really good customer support platform with tickets and the ability to put team members in there. Those types of systems also a lot of times are third-party remotely hosted stuff like Help Scout, and it comes with their own monthly bill. Doing it here inside of WordPress just saves a whole lot of money. But the beautiful thing is the fact that these plugins are all done by the same company, which means when you go to a person's Fluent CRM customer profile, you will also see all of their support ticket history right there. It all works together. And so it just doesn't get cleaner than that. It's one of those things that if you're using a bunch of different third-party platforms, you got to worry about API connections, or you got to put Zapier in the middle of it to try to make it work. All that goes away because it's all right there and tightly integrated inside of WordPress. So I'm not using Fluent Support a whole lot yet. but I am likely going to be integrating it in more with the site. The last one, same company, is called Fluent Forms. Now, Fluent Forms is what I use for all of the forms and contact forms, and any form you see on the site was built with Fluent Forms. It also works really nice with collecting leads and putting them into Fluent CRM because all this stuff works together. I like that I can go to a customer profile in Fluent CRM and I can see all of their form submissions across the entire site. So let's say that you have a survey or something at the end of each course, and you wanted to see what one of your members was saying after individual courses, or even quizzes, or anything that you might have built with Fluent Forms, you can go to their profile and see it all right there. When I was using Gravity Forms, you just couldn't do that because it wasn't linked together like that. And with Fluent Forms, it is. It's so super easy. It's so seamless. I mean, it's the cleanest thing that I've seen in a long time. And so that's what I'm using for all of that is Fluent Forms, Fluent Support, which is probably going to be coming on my site, and then Fluent CRM, which I couldn't be a bigger fan of Fluent CRM. All right, we're going to cover 3 more, and then I'm going to leave the rest to the written portion of this post so this video doesn't get too darn long. But obviously, a part of most membership sites is online courses, and what I am using is LearnDash. Now, I used to have something that was pretty customized. It was kind of nasty. I was sort of the only one that knew how it worked. I wanted to get away from that, and then I went into the hands of LearnDash because it's so well supported. A lot of people use it. It integrates with darn near everything. And that's what I wanted. And so that's why I'm with LearnDash. It does work really well. There are some things that it does that I don't even use, like assignments and quizzes and all that. But it works really nice with the Buddy Boss theme. Fluent CRM works beautifully with LearnDash. So I can go to their profile and I can just see all the courses they're enrolled in and see what their progress is in each of those courses. It's just super clean, and that's why I am using LearnDash. It works with everything. It's very, very well supported, and it just works, and that's what I wanted. Okay. Now, when it comes to online video, a lot of people, videos are just part of a membership site. Okay. And what I am using is Vimeo. Now, I am using the Vimeo Pro subscription. It's like 200 something bucks a year, if I recall. I've got a lot of videos with them, so it's sort of a pain in the butt to move. And it works really well, though. It's a very clean place to put it. I don't recommend that you use something like YouTube. That's just not good for private videos that you want to have members only. That's why I use Vimeo. The permissions are great, and it's just easy to integrate into the website. Okay, and that's why I use it. Now, one other I want to make mention of here is called Presto Player. This one actually is inside of WordPress. Again, Vimeo is a third-party hosted platform. Presto Player is not. Presto Player is a video player that has a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of the things that Vimeo does, except that it's self-hosted. Now, you don't want to self-host big video files. You don't want to put them on your same server as WordPress. Web hosts are just not built for that type of thing. And so Presto Player does integrate with a CDN called Bunny, or bunny.net, I believe it is, or Bunny CDN, or whatever the heck it's called. But I've got an account with them. It's cheaper than dirt. And so it can serve videos from there, but serve them through the Presto Player right into the site. And Presto Player does integrate with LearnDash. The only reason I'm still using Vimeo is because I have like over 1,000 videos on Vimeo, and I just don't want to go through all the work of moving them all. But if I were to start from scratch, I probably would just go with Presto Player right off the bat, and that would be another thing that is self-hosted inside of WordPress, that I can control right there, that integrates with things really nicely, and that's sort of the name of the game. That's why I've chosen the tools that I have. But Vimeo works really well. But again, if you're starting from scratch, you're still earlier in your journey with your membership site, definitely check out Presto Player because it's a very worthy alternative to an expensive video hosting subscription. Okay, so those are the core pieces of the membership site at the Blog Marketing Academy, sort of how the thing is built. Now, obviously, there are other ones. In fact, I think when I looked, I'm running over 50 active plugins on the site. It's a little crazy. Some of them, it sounds worse than it really is because some of these plugins, they have multiple plugins that go together, like Fluent CRM. You know, when you have the pro version, it's got 2 of them. I've got Affiliate WP in there for the affiliate program. There's like 4 or 5 different little plugins that go together there. So it sounds worse than it really is. Plus, there's plenty of performance things that you can do to make that work, you know. And so I've got information. If you go to the blog at blogmarketingacademy.com, I've got an article in there about how many plugins is too many and how can you run a lot of plugins without it beefing up your site too badly. And I talk all about that. And I haven't had any performance issues with this. But anyway, there are definitely other plugins involved on the site. If you go to the written portion of this blog post, you will see a lot more listed below. And of course, there's some other ones that I didn't even mention there. That's because they're not really worthy of mention. They're really small. They don't do that much. But once again, if you have any questions at all about any aspect of how this site is built, definitely comment below. I'll answer you. You can also shoot me an email and I'll get back to you directly if you'd like. And of course, if you want any of my help actually building out your membership site and helping you out with the mechanics and getting these integrations in place, well, let me know because I might be able to help you do it. If you want to put some service credits on your account, we can make it happen together and I'll get in there and basically build it for you. I've got a bunch of clients going at the same time right now. And a lot of what I'm working on is setting up membership sites for people. It's something that I do a lot of. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful. Maybe you discovered something new. Who the heck knows? If you have any questions at all, let me know. Talk to you later.